Los Angeles, March 1991. A casting room on Sunset Boulevard. Antonio Banderas walks through the door carrying a script he cannot read. What happens in the next 3 minutes doesn't just change his life. It changes how Hollywood thinks about foreign actors forever. He's 30 years old, fresh off a plane from Madrid. His English vocabulary? Maybe 50 words, learned phonetically from Madonna on a transatlantic flight. The casting director looks up, sees Antonio's face, and his expression shifts. Not impressed, not interested, already dismissive. This is the audition that will either launch Antonio Banderas into Hollywood or send him back to Spain as another foreigner who tried and failed. The role is Miguel Montoya in The Mambo Kings, a Cuban musician in 1950s New York. It's not the lead, but it's substantial. It's a real Hollywood production, real money, real distribution. It's the door Antonio has been trying to kick down for years. The casting director's name is Richard Thompson, 40 years in Hollywood, started as an assistant in 1951, worked his way up through the studio system. He's seen thousands of actors walk through that door, legends, nobodies, everything in between. He knows within 30 seconds who has it and who doesn't. The way they carry themselves, the energy they bring into the room, the confidence, or the desperation. Richard has cast everyone from Paul Newman to Al Pacino. He's the gatekeeper, the person who decides which dreams live and which die. And he's already decided Antonio Banderas doesn't have it. Antonio's wearing a borrowed suit, too big in the shoulders, too short in the sleeves, borrowed from another Spanish actor living in Los Angeles, a friend who made it, sort of, working waiter jobs while going to auditions that never pan out. Antonio couldn't afford his own suit, spent everything he had on the plane ticket. Madonna paid for it, actually, called it an investment, said Hollywood needed someone like him. But standing in this casting room, surrounded by headshots of beautiful Americans, Antonio feels like an imposter, like someone pretending to belong in a world that has no space for him. The script in his hands is 43 pages. He's read it 100 times in Spanish translation, knows every scene, every emotion, every beat. But in English, it's hieroglyphics. He memorized his audition scene phonetically, wrote the English words in Spanish pronunciation. Can you help me became Can you help me? I miss my home became I miss my home. It took him 48 hours of nonstop practice. Madonna helped on the plane, corrected his pronunciation, told him to focus on the emotion, not the words. They won't remember how you said it, she told him. They'll remember how it made them feel. Antonio hopes she's right. Richard doesn't stand up, doesn't shake Antonio's hand, just looks at him over his reading glasses. Can you even read the script? Not cruel, just factual, like asking if someone can drive before handing them car keys. Antonio understands the question, barely. The tone is universal. Dismissal sounds the same in every language. He nods. Yes, I read. His accent is so thick the words sound like they're fighting their way through concrete, each syllable weighted down with Malaga Sunshine and Almodovar films, with paella and flamenco and everything American audiences don't understand. Richard sighs. Look, Richard says, speaking slowly, like Antonio is a child, or maybe deaf. This role requires perfect English. Miguel speaks to Americans. If the audience can't understand you, the whole thing falls apart. The director wants authenticity, but he also wants box office. And Americans won't buy tickets to watch subtitles. Antonio understands maybe half the words, but he understands the tone completely. He's heard it his entire career. In Spain, they said he was too Andalusian, too working class, too flamenco for serious cinema. His accent marked him as poor, uneducated, regional. Directors in Madrid told him to lose the Malaga, to speak like someone from the capital, to smooth out the rough edges that made him sound like his father, a janitor who never finished school but could quote poetry from memory. Antonio refused then. He refuses now. The accent isn't a flaw, it's his identity. It's where he comes from, who he is. And if Hollywood can't accept that, then maybe Hollywood is the problem. Something changes in Antonio's face. Not anger, not desperation, determination. That look he gets in Almodovar films, when his characters decide to stop running and start fighting, when they choose truth over survival. He picks up the script, points to a scene, the audition scene, the one he's memorized in broken English. I show you. Richard checks his watch. 14-karat gold. Rolex. A gift from Spielberg. He has 12 more actors to see today. Real actors. American actors. People who can actually deliver lines. Fine. 3 minutes. Show me what you've got. 3 minutes to prove himself. 3 minutes to change everything. 3 minutes that will determine whether he goes back to Madrid or becomes Antonio Banderas, Hollywood star. Antonio closes his eyes. 5 seconds of complete stillness. In those 5 seconds, he's not in a casting room. He's in Madrid, in the Teatro Español, 16 years old, first audition, nervous, poor, desperate to prove he belongs on stage. He remembers what his first director told him. Acting is not pretending to be someone else. It's finding the truth inside yourself that matches the character's truth. Every role you play is you, just a different version. Antonio breathes, finds Miguel inside himself. The immigrant, the dreamer, the man far from home. That's not acting. That's his life right now. He opens his eyes. And Antonio Banderas is gone. The man standing in that casting room is Miguel Montoya, Cuban musician, 1950s New York, dreams dying slowly. He begins speaking. The words are English, technically, but pronounced strangely, phonetically memorized. Some vowels wrong, some consonants too hard. I come to America for dream, for music, for life, better than home. The grammar is broken, the accent is thick. But something happens that Richard wasn't expecting. The emotion behind the words is so raw, so real, so completely honest, that the language becomes irrelevant. Antonio isn't reciting lines, he's living them. His face transforms, every muscle telling a story. His eyes carry decades of longing, of loss, of hope, refusing to die. His body language shifts, shoulders slightly hunched, the posture of someone carrying invisible weight. He's not performing Miguel, he is Miguel. And more than that, he's every immigrant who ever came to America, every person who left everything behind for a dream, every human being who doesn't quite fit but refuses to disappear. My brother, he say America is place where music live, where Cuban sound meet American jazz and make something new, something beautiful, something that belonged to everybody. So I leave Havana, leave my mother, leave everything I know, come here with trumpet and hope and nothing else. But New York is hard. Americans, they hear my voice, they see my face, and they decide. Decide I am not good enough, not American enough. My music is too Cuban, my English is too broken. I play in clubs where nobody listen, where people talk through my solos, where I am background noise to their conversations about things that don't matter. My brother, he is different. He is handsome, charming. Americans love him. They don't understand him either, but they don't need to. His smile is universal language. Me? I am the serious one, the one who only has music, and music is not enough when nobody wants to hear it. Richard stops looking at the script, stops checking if Antonio's getting the words right, because the words don't matter anymore. Antonio's voice cracks on the word mother, not artificially, not performed. Real emotion breaking through. His eyes are wet, not crying, just present, fully in the moment, fully exposed. He continues, every night I think about going home. Think about mother's cooking, father's stories, the way Havana smells after rain, the way my trumpets sound different there, better there, understood there. But I cannot go back, cannot face them and say I failed, cannot be man who had dream and let dream die. So I stay. In this city that does not want me, in this country that does not hear me, I stay and I play and I hope. Hope that someday someone will listen, really listen, not to my accent, not to my face, to my music, to my heart, to the part of me that is same as everyone, the part that feels, that dreams, that breaks, that keeps trying anyway. Antonio finishes, returns to himself slowly, like someone waking from a dream. The casting room is completely silent. 3 minutes exactly. 3 minutes that felt like a lifetime. Richard sits, frozen. 40 years in Hollywood. Thousands of auditions. He's seen brilliant performances, Oscar-winning actors in their prime, but this Spanish actor who can barely speak English just made him cry with a cold read. Richard's eyes are wet. He doesn't even realize it at first. He wipes them quickly. Embarrassed. Tries to compose himself. Fails. Where did you learn to do that? His voice is rough, emotional. Antonio says simply, in his broken English, Pedro Almodovar, he teach me. Emotion is language. True, always. The broken English somehow makes it more powerful, more honest, more real. Richard picks up the phone. His hand is shaking slightly. He dials, waits. Someone answers. Arnie, it's Richard. I found your Miguel. Pause. Listening. No, listen to me. I know what I said about needing perfect English. I know we agreed. But you need to see this. This actor, he doesn't speak English well, but he doesn't need to. He speaks something else, something more important. Get over here, now. You need to see this before I lose him to someone else. Antonio stands there, doesn't fully understand the conversation, but understands the tone, understands the energy shift in the room. Something changed. Something worked. 20 minutes later, Arne Glimcher walks in. The director, the man who will make the final decision. He's skeptical. Richard called him away from pre-production meetings. This better be worth it. Show him, Richard says to Antonio. Antonio is exhausted, emotionally drained. That performance took everything, but he does it again. The same scene, the same broken English, the same raw truth. Arne watches without expression, director's poker face, giving nothing away. Antonio finishes, waits. Arne turns to Richard, says 2 words. He's Miguel. Just like that. No discussion, no debate. 3 minutes changed everything. Antonio Banderas gets the role in The Mambo Kings. The film releases in 1992. Critics notice him immediately. Antonio Banderas brings authentic pain to Miguel Montoya. His accent adds depth, not distraction. This is what casting directors should look for. Truth, not polish. But the real impact goes deeper. Richard tells the story to other casting directors, at industry events, at private dinners, about the Spanish actor who proved perfect English doesn't matter, about how Hollywood's obsession with linguistic perfection was blocking real talent. Within 2 years, Antonio is in Philadelphia. Tom Hanks requests him specifically, then Desperado. Robert Rodriguez builds the film around him, then Evita. Madonna, full circle, fighting to cast him. Then The Mask of Zorro, the role that makes him a household name. The accent never disappears. Antonio never tries to hide it, never smooths it out, never apologizes for it. It becomes his signature, his power, his proof that different doesn't mean less, that an Andalusian voice can speak to the whole world, if the truth behind it is universal. 2019, Cannes Film Festival. Antonio Banderas wins Best Actor for Pain and Glory, Almodovar's film Full Circle, back to his roots. In his acceptance speech, he talks about that audition, that casting room, those 3 minutes. I came to Hollywood not speaking English, he says. Everyone told me that was impossible, that I needed perfect pronunciation, perfect grammar, perfect American sound. But I learned something that day in 1991. The truth doesn't have an accent. Pain sounds the same in every language. Hope sounds the same. Love sounds the same. What matters is not how you say it. What matters is that you mean it. The audience erupts. Standing ovation, not just for the award, for the message. Richard Thompson is in that Cannes audience, retired now, 83 years old. He watches Antonio on that stage, and he thinks about all the actors he dismissed over 40 years. How many had truth behind broken English? How many had talent trapped behind accents? How many dreams died in his casting room because he prioritized polish over authenticity? After the ceremony, Richard finds Antonio. They haven't spoken in years. Thank you, Richard says. Antonio is confused. For what? For teaching me. That day in 1991, You taught me what casting directors are supposed to look for, not perfection. Truth. Antonio smiles, that Zorro smile. You taught me too. You gave me a chance. In Hollywood, that is everything. Today, Antonio Banderas has made over 60 films, been nominated for an Oscar, won Cannes, won Goya, built a theater in Malaga, taught hundreds of young actors. But he still remembers those 3 minutes, that casting room on Sunset Boulevard, the borrowed suit, the phonetic script, the moment everything changed. That day, Antonio said in a recent interview, I learned Hollywood's secret. They say they want perfection. They say they want polish. They say they want someone who fits their idea of American. But what they really want is truth, and truth speaks every language. Truth needs no translation. Truth cuts through accent and grammar and all the superficial things, and reaches directly into the heart. That is what acting is, not pretending to be someone you're not, finding the universal human truth, and sharing it in your own voice. 3 minutes in a casting room. 30 years ago, one Spanish actor with 50 English words, one casting director willing to see past the accent, one performance that changed everything. Antonio Banderas proved that day that your difference is not your weakness, it's your strength. That what makes you imperfect by someone else's standards is exactly what makes you irreplaceable. That success is not about fitting in, it's about showing up as yourself and refusing to apologize for it. 3 minutes. That's all it takes to change everything. The question is, when your 3 minutes come, will you hide who you are, or will you show them the truth? Antonio chose truth, and the world is better for it.